Happy to take your calls. I think right now we have, what did you write here? What does it say?
Brenda.
Brenda. Okay, you need to make your R's look like R's and not like L's.
Well, that's a problem I'm working on.
Because this honestly looks like Blenda.
Well, possibly you just don't know how to read right.
I think that's more accurate.
We'll talk about this later.
We're going to go to Blenda. Good morning, Blenda.
Yes.
What's your? Can you turn your radio down first of all?
Okay.
Turn that off because you're not going to need it.
Okay.
All right, and there we go. Brenda, what's on your mind?
Well, I would like to speak my thought about abortion.
Okay, and what are your thoughts?
Well, I don't understand what all the controversy is about.
Okay.
I think everyone on this earth has a choice. Even the people in the woods where they have to pipe the sunlight. There's so much education, free birth control. Everything is available.
Mm-hmm.
So people have the choice. They just don't want to take responsibility for their actions when they make the wrong choice.
Mm.
So I'm definitely against abortion. I really think it ought to be a federal crime, unless it is incest or the mother's life is in danger. But there's plenty of people in this earth wanting to adopt babies if the people don't want them.
That tends to be my understanding as well, Brenda. I know of a lot of families that would just love to have a child but are unable to do so. And I think it comes down to, I think you're right, I think it comes down to, once again, we talk about this all the time, personal responsibility. That's what it all comes back to. And when people I've talked to, there is a choice. The choice starts off with, are we going to have sex or are we not? And obviously that choice is up to you. And if you do engage it, you made your choice. Right. I think that, for me personally, and I'm not going to get on a soapbox, but for me personally, that's when the choice was made, and that's when you start to be responsible.
Right. They just don't want the responsibility.
All right. Well, Brenda, I appreciate your thoughts this morning. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So there's that weighing on, and I'm not going to monopolize this conversation on this issue. My main thoughts and points were this. I knew this would probably come up. I knew this would be a sticky subject, one that gets kind of heated, and I don't want that. I don't want this to be heated. I want this to be well thought out. I want us to engage in this issue and actually talk about it and be willing to hear each other rather than just, blowing our own personal standpoints. And my main question comes down to this, and why now is the majority of Americans calling themselves pro-life? Why now is it that 51% say we're pro-life, while 42% say we're pro-choice? And as Paul, I believe, said, maybe it's the wording. Maybe people, when they looked at it, they thought, this is no one wants to admit this, but from what I've seen in the culture, no one has a problem admitting this. If you're on that side of the fence, then that's perfectly legitimate. You don't see anything wrong with that. This is another way to live. So they don't see it as a negative thing. A lot of people see it as a progressive thing, where we're giving rights to the mom, we're helping them out. They don't look at it as negative at all. So I don't know. You guys' thoughts are more important than mine. 577-7000, 1-800-765-KTTS. We'll sort this issue out, talking with each other about it. Let's go real quick. We're going to talk to Sean. I think he's back on line 2. We're going to try this again. Sean wants to talk about the stimulus. Good morning, Sean. You're on Cracker Barrel. This is the second time, Sean. Sean, are you there? Wow. Okay, Sean, you lost it. Next week, maybe. This week, not happening. Anyway, let's move on. We're going to talk about red lights and bad driving. The forefront issue on folks' mind this morning. Let's go to the phone. It's line 1. Good morning. You're on Cracker Barrel.
Good morning.
All right,
I'd like to talk about people that pull out. Okay. You're a ranch hand that's on the Go Patrol, aren't you?
Yes, I am in the Go Patrol.
You're supposed to know the rules of the road.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if you are going, let's say east and west, and you're going to turn left, that would make you going north. and there's a whole lot of people coming from the west to go with this light, then why would you have the stupidity of pulling out into the intersection to turn left when you know darn well you're going to run a red light? Why don't people understand that they're going to run a red light?
I have no idea.
But you see it all the time.
I'm going to imagine they don't care.
Huh?
I'm going to imagine they just don't care. That's going to be the issue.
Well, you want to know something? Then if they run a red light where there's a camera up there, and they said they're evading, the camera is evading their privacy, excuse me, you as a stupid enough person just pull out in that light. Because if I understand my rules and regulations, when you cross that line, and you pull out in the intersection, and you don't get across that intersection when the light goes from yellow to red, then you're running a red light. Am I not right?
Once the light turns red and your wheel is over that white bar or over the line they've designated, that's when they consider it you've run the red light.
Yes. And how many people do you see running red lights?
Me personally, I don't see as many as you would think. I do see a lot of people trying to chase that yellow. And
it turns red before you can say yellow.
But obviously, that's a concern to me. And here's the deal, as you mentioned, Go Patrol, right? So
yes.
I see a ton of wrecks where people trying to beat that yellow. And for me, it's not worth it. I'll be the guy that the light just turned yellow. I'm, maybe 10 feet away from the intersection. I'm going to stop. I'm not going to gun it.
That's me also.
Yeah.
I do it, and let me tell you something. I got rear-ended because a broad was going to run a red light.
And that also happens.
And as I said, you noticed I called her a broad, didn't you?
Yes, I did notice that.
Because she didn't get a ticket.
Oh wow.
And that has literally been a crawl. That's made me mad since 2002. Now another thing I will tell you, I don't like people to crowd in ahead of a line. And I explained what I did this past week.
Okay, let's hear it.
I dropped my cell phone, so I had to go get my cell phone taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And there was 3 people. When you walk into AT&T, there's a sign in and date assignment. All right, so I signed in, and there were 3 gentlemen ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
So we're sitting here waiting for the clerks to get through with the customers they had. This man walked in, went over to the one of those display counters, got what he wanted, and went over to a clerk who was walking towards the 3 of us.
Mm-hmm.
The other 4 of us, I should say. And he was starting to get waited on. I got up and I walked over to him and I said, I don't know who you think you are. You sure as the world are not the President of the United States because you're the wrong color. And you sure as the world are not the Queen of England. Now, you please get to the end of the line. There's 4 others ahead of you. He said, well, I'm in a hurry. And I said, oh, we're not. Get to the end of the line.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And I'm a little old lady. I walk with a cane, and yes, I have threatened one other time with a person trying to crowd in. I have got my time too. Well, I may be retired, but you don't have a right to crowd in ahead of me.
I love it. Way to be.
I'm a little old crotchety lady that you better not walk in front of me. Okay, you have a nice day,
Oh,
sir.
You have a wonderful Sunday. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for that call. I like that a lot. I like people that stand up, and especially little old ladies that say, hey, you're not the President or the Queen of England. I'm going to try that one next time. I'm going to try that. Not the President or the Queen of England. This will be good. This will be some major smack talk to lay down.